Come on, where's my thing now? Oh no, I want my, okay, there we go. All right, so welcome to the Akashic Records Practitioner Certification course, Demystified. So I will be answering any questions that I may conjure up with this presentation at the end, and I'm going to stay with you until all your questions are answered. So welcome. Thanks for being here. And opening the Akashic Records opens you to your infinite potential. Now, I went to Bali. I went almost all the way around the world to Bali, Indonesia in 2010, and this is where I studied the Akashic Records, sitting on the floor for 10 days on a cushion. It certainly was an experience learning the Akashic Records there. And this is not the slide that's supposed to be coming up. Hang on one second. Oh, goodness. So who's this for? This is for you if you've been on a path of self-discovery, you want to deepen your spiritual practice, you want to awaken, ascend, expand your potential, or explore the Akashic Records. All right, so this was me back in 2010. And the picture on the left, we were at this mineral springs. It was a fabulous experience. It was part of the trip. But what did the Akashic Records do for me? Well, first of all, going in 2010, I took a day when they went exploring some mountain, and I stayed home and I went into my Akashic Records and I asked some very pertinent questions about my personal past, which were answered with a movie. They gave me a movie in front of my third eye. And so that started happening. I was writing my book, my first book, and I published it in 2011. It was the Odyssey, Victim to Victory, and the story of my personal awakening. Well, the Akashic Records helped me to awaken, helped me to expand my consciousness, helped me to open my heart, helped me to be more positive, more loving, a better healer, and certainly a better coach, better parent, better grandparent. I mean, all areas of my life transformed after using the Akashic Records. Now, I use the Akashic Records every time I do a coaching session for a client. And I'll explain why in a moment. But I will tell you that my life totally transformed when I started using the Akashic Records. Where are the Akashic Records stored? Well, they're not in a book like people think. They are recorded in the Akasha, or on the ethers. And who are they recorded by? Well, there's a team of angels that record every thought, word, deed, emotion for each of our souls. So for each of us, for each soul's journey, for each lifetime, there is a record, and they're recorded in the ethers. So what is Akasha? It's a Sanskrit meaning primary substance out of which all things are formed, the Akasha. Very powerful. And the Akashic Records are a soul level dimension of consciousness that contain information about every soul's journey as a human throughout time. And the Akashic Records are mentioned in the Bible, the Hebrew Tanakh, and the Quran, mentioned in Buddhism, and also in India, the Mahabhuta. And I can give you, if you're looking for where exactly is it in the Bible, and there are several, Psalm 69, verse 28, Philippians 4:3, Revelation 3:5, also Revelations 13:8, 17:8, 20:12, 20:15, and 21:27. So there are many references to the Akashic Records in the Bible. All right, so what can you get from the Akashic Records reading? Well, my slides have a soul of their own. Okay. Okay. The soul's essence and expression, unlimited potentials. We're doing a dance here. The soul's purpose. So you can get your soul's purpose. Issues of your lifetime. So, in your case, then, if maybe you had a difficult childhood and you want to dive into, well, oh, brother, let me just get out of this for a second and see what the heck is going on. So I am going to go and start over again. I'm so sorry. I had this issue the last time I did this here. That's only one of 28. There's 28 slides though. All right. Let me see if we can start again. I don't know. I don't know why this, see if I can do, this. Okay, see if this will do any different. All right, can you all see?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we're starting from the beginning. Irene, you're not missing anything. We're going to read two. Okay. So this is where you can explore your infinite potential. I studied the Akashic Records in Bali in 2010, and it changed my life. So what is this course for? Who is it for? If you've been on a spiritual path of self-discovery and growth, you want to deepen your spiritual practice, transform, expand your potential, dive into your soul's growth, what you're really here for, this is the way to go. And this was me in Bali. It changed my life. I went in, September, coming back the first week of October 2010, and it was the next year that I fully awakened. And it has helped me to help transform the lives of thousands of clients. So every time I do a coaching session, I open my clients' Akashic Records. And so they receive a healing just from that. And we'll talk more about that. The Akashic Records are stored in the Akasha, or in the ethers. And how? Well, angels are recording every thought, word, deed, and emotion for every soul's experience. So it is, Akasha is primary substance. It is what everything is formed out of. So it is a vital energy, powerful energy, and it's soul level dimensions. Irene, could you mute yourself, please? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. So it contains information about every soul's journey. Thank you. Throughout time, from the beginning of your soul's inception. And where can you hear about the Akashic Records to know that they really exist? Well, the Christian Bible, the Hebrew Tanakh, the Quran, Buddhism, and in India, the Mahabhuta. And the soul's very essence and expression, it can be found in the Akashic Records, your unlimited potential, your purpose, issues that you brought in from a previous lifetime. What are you supposed to work on this life? And also favorable and difficult patterns can be identified. What is it that is what is it I'm supposed to learn? For me, my whole thing was learning about love, and I learned through relationships. Now, not everybody does it this way, but that's how I did it. So corrective measures, how to establish harmony. So it deepens your soul's expression and expands you. So now if you were going to get an Akashic Record reading, let's say I was going to do a reading for you, what what are you going to get? Oh, if you learn to do the Akashic Records, what will you be giving to the people you read for? Well, you dignify and elevate the person that you read for. You're uplifting them. And the reader perceives, if it's you doing the reading, you perceive the potential of the client. And then you are uplifting through the Akashic Records in this reading the person into this higher frequency, which quickens. There's a quickening, it's even written in the Bible. They're freed from this lower vibration activity and move into a higher state of consciousness. So every time we enter the Akashic Records, we're moving into that higher frequency. So you receive a healing every time you open your Akashic Records, and the person that you're reading for receives a healing every time you read for them. So what's the deal about the Akashic Records? Well, you're gaining access to your unlimited potential. And what I will tell you is, when you're in that energy of the Akashic Records, the ascended masters are unconditionally loving, unwavering in their godlike abilities. And so communing with these beings, and I'm going to talk more about who they are and exactly how they got to be the ascended masters, but it helps us transform. It helps us grow. We receive peace and healing. And I have to say, the thousands of times that I've been in the Akashic Records, I mean, I'm aging backwards. I'm going to be 68 this year. And, you know, people tell me that I seem ageless. And I will tell you also that I'm having, yes, there's challenges in life, but I'm moving through them with greater ease. So it helps you move through challenges with greater ease. Now, who are the ascended masters? Well, I'm going to tell you, now these are images of some of them. Mary Magdalene, Master Jesus, Saint Germain, Elmoira, Dom Ignacio, Lady Nada, Lao Tzu, Paul the Venetian, Melchizedek, Maha Chohan, Kuan Yin, Hilarion, Katumi, Lord Lanto, Pallas Athena, Mother Mary, Isis, Serapis Bey, Saint John the Baptist, Eros, Mat, Amen Bey. Some of these I cannot pronounce. Ptah, Thomas Merton. Now, Thomas Merton died in 1968, and he's an ascended master. He was a priest, and I'm going to talk to you about, okay, how do you become an ascended master? Because you don't just die and become one. It's not that simple. Portia, Anubis, Quetzalcoatl, he's a sixth ray ascended master. Freya, Moses, Chanananda, Yogananda, Gautama Buddha, Maitreya, and Cha-Ara. Now, those are just some of them. So what I want to talk to you about is, so what is the deal? How do they become ascended masters? Well, they are divine beings. They have been on this planet, and they have risen above their karma. They have negated 51% of their negative karma. They've taken the sixth initiation, also referred to as ascension, and what Jesus did, where he rose from the dead and he was seen rising from the dead. And see, these beings take their body with them. And some of them, if you read the book Masters from the Far East, some of these beings are alive for thousands of years. They've gained mastery over the limitation of the matter planes or the earth planes. They've become godlike, a source of unconditional or divine love. They have reunited with their God self, the I Am Presence. They serve as teachers of mankind. So they're dedicated to serving us from the realms of spirit. And their attention is on the needs of humanity. That's all they do is help humanity to act, inspire spiritual growth. They're considered part of the spiritual hierarchy of Earth. They are members of the Great White Brotherhood. And, you have to be so careful these days. That does not mean that they're all white, not at all. This just white as in white light. They're also known as the White Lodge, Universal White Brotherhood. And Elizabeth Clare Prophet was one of the people who channeled, and because there were only thought to be about 60 of them, there's more than that now. So it's really amazing to commune with these beings. And when they give us information, it is absolute truth. They never lie. When I discovered this, that they never lied, that the information was always accurate, it was phenomenal to me, because I'd been married to men who lied and cheated. And to find beings that never lie, it's like, wow, is that possible? And so since 2011, January, I have not been able to tell a lie. And so you can ask me probing questions. I cannot lie. All right. So they are a divine being who balanced 51% of their negative karma. They fulfilled their dharma or divine plan. They've become godlike and unwavering in unconditional love for all of life, not just humans, but animals too. So this course, this practitioner's course in the Akashic Records, is for anyone who wants to expand their consciousness, growth, heal their past lives. And what I will tell you also from all the work I have done in the Akashic Records, most of the issues we have in this lifetime are related to our past lives. And so we can heal that past, elevating our consciousness and increasing life, joy, longevity, so many things, and help thousands of people in the process. So what can you use the Akashic Records for? Well, if you're a musician, you could channel music. You could create scores of music, write books. I've channeled 2 books through the Akashic Records. The second, Orgasm for Life, was written and published in less than 3 months. And so it can really speed up the process, because it gets you out of your ego into your heart and into a higher level of consciousness. Now, what is recorded in the Akashic Records? Everything. Well, what you go through on a day, some of us can't remember what we had for breakfast yesterday, and everything that we ever thought, every word we spoke, every deed we did, every emotion we experienced is recorded for each soul throughout their journey since the beginning of time. And why? Well, when we cross over, we meet our master guide, and it could be someone that you've spoken to through the Akashic Records, and they meet with us and they do a replay, sort of like a Zoom call, a replay of your life. And they talk to you about, well, you did this well. What do you think about this? How did you feel about the relationships you had? What do you think that you need to learn in your next life? So that is why all of these things are recorded, so that we have a life review when we cross over. And it absolutely does happen. Well, what will you learn? I'm going to move this for you. What will you learn through the Akashic Record course? You'll learn how to access the Akashic Records for yourself and others. So there's the first part is learning how to read for yourself. And we'll be diving in and sharing. You'll be having breakout sessions where you partner with someone and read for them, and they read for you. And you'll learn what the Akashic Records are, exactly how they're organized, how they function, and what can you use the Akashic Records for. All right, this is where I got into trouble last time. Let's see if I can skip this ahead without going 3 times. Okay, so what are the course details? It begins next Wednesday. It ends Wednesday, June 8th. It is not It is not a recording. It is me teaching the Akashic Records live. It's an intensive course. You will be learning how to become an Akashic Records practitioner. It is currently 5 to 6:30 Mountain. If that doesn't work for you and you need it to be a little later, I can slide it to 6, going to 7:30 Mountain. It will be on Zoom. It is live. It is recorded. And yes, there will be time for questions and answers during the course. You will receive a certificate of achievement and the benefits that are invisible. All right, so what I will tell you is you start having conversations with the Ascended Masters on a regular basis, where you may go to sleep and wake up with something in your mind that answers your question. You're communing with the Ascended Masters. You have a deeper connection with your spirit guides, with yourself, expanded love for yourself. You're going to find yourself much more compassionate for yourself and others. You'll help your clients and friends and family, whoever you read for. There's no need to pay psychics or get readings, because you can do them for yourself. You could channel a book, write a screenplay, create music. So many things you could do. And of course, grow. So what is the investment? It is $397, and I will give you the link. Yes, I have a payment plan available if necessary. And now, questions. So do you have any questions for me about anything that we've covered so far, or anything I've not mentioned? And you can unmute yourself and go ahead. Anne, do you have a question?
Yeah, I don't really have anything that, I mean.
It could be a comment, just something you observed from what came up for you.
You did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I actually took some notes. So there was information that obviously felt very pertinent.
Can I answer a question that you're not asking?
Absolutely.
Okay, forgive me if I am intervening here, but what I will say is my biggest thing on this planet has been relationships. Now we have relationships with our parents. We have relationships with our siblings. We have relationships where we're in partnership with a partner. What could be a friend, could be a lover, a husband. And so I have used the Akashic Records to elevate my communication, to, having a mother that's a narcissist. I healed codependency. I healed all kinds of health issues, and all of these things. You can ask questions like, why do I keep getting sinus infections? Oh, okay, it's caused by anger. Cue mother. And so you can use the Akashic Records to ask deep and probing questions about, a relationship that has been a challenge or maybe just ended. And in that, you're not going to fix the relationship, perhaps, but it lifts you to a higher level, learning, okay, what was my role here? What did I not see? What did I not hear? What did I miss? What should I be noticing? What is the silver lining? What am I supposed to learn? So asking these questions, and this is one of the things that, because I've used the Akashic Records now for, it's 12 years now, I guess, since 12 years. So asking the right questions begets the right response. In other words, you don't want to just go in the Akashic Records and just be willy-nilly daydreaming. You want to ask questions that are going to give you answers. And what I'll tell you is, it's very rare, but it does happen, that you go into the Akashic Records and you ask a question, and you'll discover there are some things that are just off limits. no, we cannot tell you that. You can come back, circle around. Okay, what can you tell me about my question? So there's workarounds, but there are some things that we are not prepared to hear. But I will tell you, since I've been journeying in the Akashic Records, they've taken me. I've been down the tunnel of light. I had an opportunity to leave the planet, and I was told I am hang on a second, I'm not going to say it right. I'm a bodhisattva. I am here to help people awaken. So I promise you, you're going to have an expansion, growth, magnificent growth. And, the first year that I was in the Akashic Records, I wasn't even doing it too much, not regularly, really. And since that time, I would say almost every day, I'm opening the Akashic Records. So it is, the more you are in the Akashic Records, the more you grow, the more information you receive. And of course, the better you get at listening and getting the information. So now I open my clients' Akashic Records when I'm doing a coaching session, and I am just working on clearing their energy, and they're talking, and I get data, I get words or phrases or something really pertinent, because the Ascended Masters want to help. They're always wanting to help. And so when the Akashic Records are open and you're talking to a client, then the information will flow, especially when we're open to receive. And so that's something, we have to work on, is not being afraid. Oh, and I'm also going to answer this question. It has nothing to do with intuition. You had that one, right?
That the Akashic Records have something to do with intuition?
Yeah, there's no intuition required. You don't need to be psychic to read the Akashic Records.
Have to be able to receive.
Yes.
Which as a giver is a really hard thing.
Okay, so I have a YouTube video just posted. You should watch it. I think it'll help you a lot. So one of the things that has helped me tremendously, because I was formerly codependent, is that, so many things have been taught to me by the Ascended Masters, one being energy moves in a circle. So if it's always going out, you're being depleted, right? It has to come back to us. So we need to give and receive, give and receive. And it's a huge thing to learn. So, Anne, thank you so much for being my model student. I appreciate you. Thank you. Anybody else have a question? And if you would like to post it in the chat, I can get out of this. And if you prefer to not be on camera or don't want your voice heard or whatever aversion you may have, but please do know there's no judgment here. Anything is possible. All right, I'm going to just step out here. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to stop the screen share. And okay, so anybody else have a question? Irene, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. I saw that you were on at 5 last week. I apologize. I showed up at the wrong time last week. So the universe is working on us. Okay, hang on one second. All right, let me just read this. I don't know what happened. Okay. All right. Thanks, Monique. What I have found, I think I started doing Akashic record readings separate, coaching separate, energy healing separate. And because someone told me that's the way I should do it. And what I discovered was when I combined everything I was doing together, it made more sense. And I think it's much more beneficial for my clients because they're getting all of me instead of compartmentalizing the gifts that I have. And so whether you want to use the Akashic Records for your clients in therapy or not, or for personal use, it'll change your life. And I'm talking about in huge and positive ways. I cannot see any negative from going into the Akashic Records. So the other thing that I'll say is when I'm receiving information, I don't usually say, who are you? Who's speaking to me? Because there's usually, I can tell there's a group and they kind of, one will speak for the group. My favorite is Saint Germain. If you have, there's some really interesting stuff. So I want to tell you a little bit about Saint Germain. I think I have notes for him. Okay, Serapis Bey actually is an interesting one. He incarnated as a high priest in the temples of sacred fire. He was in Atlantis and then migrated to Egypt when Atlantis was going down. He became the pharaoh, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Amenhotep III. He constructed the temple of Luxor to the god Ammon, and also Leonidas. He was the king of Sparta. He was killed in 480 BC defending the pass of Thermopylae against the ancient Greece emperor Xerxes of the Persian Empire. The ascended master Saint Germain, I think he was alive for like 600 years. He reincarnated. He was alive in, I'm trying to remember that part of France where they had the ornate gold furniture. I can't think of it. Time in France. I think it was the 14th century, but he also was embodied as Plato, Proclus, Roger Bacon, and Francis Bacon. And Saint Germain has been known for shape-shifting. He was really, a lot of people do channel him, but I will tell you, he's quite the character. And when you're communing with these ascended masters, you'd be surprised at how often they joke with you. They have a sense of humor. Some of the things that they have said to me had me really cracking up so much that I laughed till I cried. So there's so many. You could speak to Master Jesus, Confucius, Ashtar, Sanat Kumara, there's Kuan Yin. And of course, here's the thing about communing with the ascended masters. If you're having a hard time loving yourself, they will teach you how. And what I will say about that is the more self-love that we have, the higher we vibrate. And, we can ascend, come to a place of ascension is my goal in this lifetime, so that, we take our body with us. I have a recommendation there. There's several texts that you could read about the ascended masters, about the Akashic Records. The Masters of the Far East is a collection I hold. I've only read, in one of those books. But what I will tell you about these ascended masters, they are able to fly through the air. They walk. They walk, but they're flying. And so if you can read some of those texts, it's phenomenal what these beings are capable of. And so to be able to learn, maybe breatharianism, or maybe you want to improve your health. There's so many things that you could do with the Akashic Records. And so, I was sick for a month, and I did lots of things to get myself well. But what I kept hearing was hot springs, go to the hot springs. And yesterday I took my daughter, and if you are friends of mine on Facebook, I have pictures of the trip. I will tell you, we become powerful manifestors with the help of the Ascended Masters and the Akashic Records. And so this trip, I said to my daughter, because she had just gone through a terrible breakup, and she's doing my social media. She's a brilliant light worker and being, she's a massage therapist, formerly a chef. And so I got the message that we needed to go. And I will say we bonded, we're closer, tighter than ever as a result. But let me just say, the drive was phenomenal. We saw elk leaving Boulder, and then several herds of deer just moving south of Boulder, and then going down into, let's see, Bali and South Park and Fairplay, Colorado. I saw pronghorn deer. I'd never seen them before. And I was able to take pictures of deer. When we got to this hot springs in Cottonwood, it was Cottonwood Hot Springs in Buena Vista. We're in the water, warm, it's beautiful, and snow all around. And, these people pointed to the mountain that we're viewing, because the hot springs here, mountain right here, right next, snow. And I had never gotten a picture of a longhorn sheep. And there was a herd of them playing and feeding the whole time we were in these hot springs. There was this herd of longhorn sheep. The trip was laid out with such majesty and magic. This is the thing that happens when you commune with the Ascended Masters. And then the next day, I woke up and I said, God, you granted me such a fabulous trip yesterday. The one thing I asked, could we have an opportunity to take pictures of the longhorn sheep? Because I couldn't take a picture. There wasn't an opportunity. And we drove and drove, and my daughter fell asleep. And sure enough, right before we exited this snowy area of Fairplay, and everything else below that was, 70 degrees, and then Fairplay, snow covered everything. And there's a huge herd of pronghorn sheep. And I did get my pictures, and they're on Facebook. So magic miracles become the norm when you're communing in the Akashic Records. So I hope that you'll join me for this course. It starts next week. I will tell you one more thing. One of Linda Howe, now she is another Akashic Records teacher, quite famous in fact. One of her students is teaching the same course, the Akashic Records, for practitioners, and she's teaching it for $30 more than what I'm teaching it for. Now, she has not been using the Akashic Records for 12 years with thousands of people like I have. She's a newbie, but she's charging $430. So I will tell you, the value is there. The life-changing opportunity is definitely there. And you'll be warmly surrounded in this loving environment. I hope you'll join me. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, you can, of course, DM me. You can email me, jenniferelizabethmasters@gmail.com. Please do ask whatever questions are burning. And yes, I will offer a payment plan to make it more convenient if you cannot do a full pay. So with that, I'm done, unless you have another question for me. Nope. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for staying, all of you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and much love. Love you. Bye-bye.